All right, let's dive into one of the most incredible, powerful forces on our planet, biodiversity. It's this massive, tangled, and absolutely essential variety of life that honestly fuels pretty much everything around us.
So, to kick things off, let me ask you a question. What could a tiny mushroom, a giant blue whale, and, well, you possibly have in common? I know, it sounds like the beginning of a really weird joke, right? But the answer actually gets at a fundamental truth about our world. We are all connected in this vast, amazing web of life. And to really get our heads around that connection, we've got to start with the basics. So let's break it down. What is biodiversity? At its absolute core, biodiversity is just that, the variety of life in any given area. But that super simple definition covers an unbelievable scale. I mean, we're talking everything from the microscopic bacteria living in the dirt under your feet to the giant sequoia trees that tower over our heads. It's the whole shebang. But see, it gets even cooler, because biodiversity operates on different levels. First, you've got species diversity. The obvious difference between a fox, an oak tree, and a ladybug, all living in the same forest. But then there's genetic diversity. This is the variety within a single species, like all the different colors and spot patterns on those ladybugs. And that genetic toolkit, that's what lets a species adapt and change and ultimately survive.
So, why should we care about all this variety? Well, because biodiversity isn't just nice to look at, it is literally the engine that keeps our planet running. It provides what scientists call ecosystem services. You've got bees and other insects pollinating our food, fungi and microbes creating healthy soil, plants giving us food and life-saving medicines, not to mention entire forests and oceans that filter our water and regulate the climate. Without it, our world just wouldn't work, period.
So, okay. How do all these millions of different pieces actually fit together? Well, it's not just some random jumble of life. It's a highly organized system, and it's all built around the flow of one thing: energy. Think of any ecosystem, and you'll find there are three main jobs. First up, you've got the producers. These are almost always plants, and they are the foundation, capturing energy straight from the sun. Then you've got the consumers, the eaters. They get their energy by munching on producers or other consumers. And finally, you have the decomposers, like mushrooms and bacteria. They're the planet's cleanup crew, breaking down dead stuff and returning all those vital nutrients back into the soil for the producers to use all over again. Now, the simplest way to picture this flow of energy is a food chain. It's a straight line, right? The sun fuels the grass, a rabbit eats the grass, and when that rabbit's time is up, decomposers recycle it. It's a perfect, simple little loop. Or is it? Yeah, you can probably guess the answer. Is nature ever really that simple? Of course not. A rabbit doesn't only eat one type of grass, and it's definitely not the only thing eating grass out there. The reality is so much more messy and beautiful. It's not a single chain at all. It's a super intricate food web with countless pathways all overlapping. A fox doesn't just eat rabbits, it eats mice too. But hey, so does an owl, and a bear might eat the same berries that the fox relies on. All of a sudden, you see everything is connected in dozens of different competing ways. And it turns out that complexity, that messiness, is the system's greatest strength. Seriously, think about it like a game of Jenga. A simple food chain is like a tall, wobbly Jenga tower. You pull out one piece, let's say the rabbit population crashes, and the whole thing could just topple over. But a food web, that's like a wide, sturdy pyramid. If one food source vanishes, the predators can just switch to another. The system is built to handle shocks. And this amazing ability to bounce back from damage, it has a name: ecological resilience. It's the superpower that biodiversity gives to our planet. The more species and connections you have in that web, the more pathways energy can take, and the stronger the entire system becomes, able to resist damage and recover when things inevitably go wrong. Which brings us to the most critical part of this story. What happens when that resilient web starts to break? What kind of disturbances are so powerful that they can actually threaten to tear it apart? Well, scientists have pinpointed 5 major threats, and they're all overwhelmingly linked to what we do: habitat destruction, pollution, overexploitation, invasive species, and climate change. These are the big 5, the primary ways we are, piece by piece, snipping threads in the web of life. To really get a feel for the impact, let's just zoom in on 2 of these and see exactly how they work to unravel the whole system. First up, invasive species. These are organisms that get introduced to an ecosystem where they have no natural enemies. Imagine a plant that just chokes out everything else, or an insect that just tears through a forest. They can multiply like crazy, stealing all the resources and completely rewiring the local food web. They're like bullies that take over the whole playground. And then there's habitat destruction. This one is maybe the most direct threat of all. A habitat is an organism's home. It's where it finds food, water, shelter, everything it needs to live. So when we clear a forest or drain a wetland, we're not just getting rid of trees or water. We are literally erasing the homes of thousands of species, severing their connections in the web for good. Okay, I know that can feel pretty overwhelming, but here's the good news. Understanding the problems is the first step toward fixing them. So let's talk about how we can start to mend this web. And the solutions line up directly with the threats. To fight invasive species, we can do simple things like cleaning our hiking boots and our boats so we don't accidentally spread them around. To fight pollution, we can focus on reducing our own waste. And to counter habitat loss, we can support the conservation of natural spaces, whether it's a tiny local park or a huge national forest. And this isn't just about saving wilderness somewhere far away. Our own backyards and farms play a huge part. Things like sustainable agriculture, rotating crops to keep soil healthy, using natural fertilizers, planting native plants to create homes for pollinators, these can turn farms into little biodiversity hotspots. And here's the most important takeaway. Every single one of these actions, no matter how small it feels, helps weave another thread back into the web. Each choice we make helps rebuild that vital ecological resilience. So after all this complexity, all these webs and chains, it really all boils down to one simple, powerful idea. One planet, one system, one web of life. From the mushroom to the whale to you and me, we aren't just living on the Earth. We are the Earth. We're an inseparable part of its web. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Your actions matter. Your choices matter. You are a thread in this incredible, vital tapestry. And the only real question is, what part of nature's web will you choose to protect?